Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm truly pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. So friends, this is the space, if you haven't been here before, where I use tarot spreads to dive into topics, to think about topics, to explore topics related to living an intentional life, to living life intentionally, open to the powerful force of intention. So friends, we have a tarot spread all laid out. Let's take a look. Let's dive right in. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, this spread will be unfamiliar for you as well, because I'm using several new decks for me. Two of them are the Soul Cards. Soul Cards 1 and Soul Cards 2. And they're an older deck. Well, relatively older. They're not as old as the Pamela Colman Smith Tarot, and they're definitely not as old as some of the older Italian tarocchi from the 15th century, for example, but they're relatively older. They've been around for a couple of decades, I believe. And there will be more information about those cards at the end of the video as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about them in a little bit. The next two decks are two decks created by Jonas, who is a creator in Spain, but I believe of Portuguese descent. She writes in Portuguese on the cards. The titles are in Portuguese. And they're beautiful. They're two sets of the same deck. I have the jumbo set and the medium-sized set. And I'm using them in combination, along with the soul cards and the inquiry cards, which you have seen before. So friends, now that I've explained the tools I'm using, let's look at the first line of cards, the soul cards. Aren't they beautiful? And aren't they unique? These cards are created by a very unique art process. The creator puts color onto a glass plate and then manipulates the color with their hands and then transfers the image onto paper. And that becomes the image for the card, for each of the cards. And this deck is unique because there is no guide. There is no guidebook, there are no titles, as you can see, and there's no information other than the image. The purpose of this deck is to allow the reader to read entirely through intuition, through their own internal perception of what is happening in the cards. And frankly, the reason I decided to come back to tarot after a long hiatus was I wanted to strengthen, to develop my intuitive ability and my connection to my intuitive talents, my intuitive ability to think and to understand. And so this is the next step on my journey of self-development, of development as an intuitive, as a person who has full access to their intuitive abilities, which all of us have. All of us have that intuition. The question is how well we are able to implement it, to use it. So this set of cards, again, beautiful and challenging for me. This is the next step on my journey. And so what I've done is I have laid out a spread of 5 of them to tell a story. Now you could see there are 5 cards. The first card, there is no title to these cards, so I can't say is the Priestess card, or is Temperance, or is a 5 of Pentacles, or is Wisdom. Yeah? So the first card makes me think of joy. What do you think of, or what do you feel when you feel joy? Close your eyes for a moment and remember the last time you felt happy. What did that feel like in your body? How did that feel? What did it make you want to do? And remember that many of us use the word happy, I believe, incorrectly. If you are saying, yes, I'm happy, but I'm worried about this, but it would be better if this were different, you're not happy. At that moment, you're not happy. You are something other than happy. When you are happy, sure, there are concerns. There are concerns, but those are not the things you are giving your attention to at that moment. When you are happy, those concerns are out of the frame of your attention. Sure, they probably still exist, but that's not where you are. In your space, you are somewhere else. You are giving attention to somewhere else, to something else. You are feeling something else. You are not feeling happy, but you are feeling happy. Just happy. Because we can only feel one thing at one moment. So how did that feel? Did it make you feel like you wanted to dance? Did you feel radiant? Did you feel like skipping or jumping or running or singing? What did that make you feel like? Did you feel like you were radiating, happy out into the universe? Or receiving happy from the universe? The second card is falling to me, was a falling sensation. Falling into icy water, plummeting. Have you ever felt that feeling? Close your eyes. When have you experienced the sense of emotionally falling? Yeah, being knocked off your feet, being bowled over by something that was overwhelming perhaps, or having fallen from what felt like a happy state to an unhappy state. Have you felt that? How did that feel? Did you feel that plummeting sense, that sense of something coming down from the heights and landing in your gut? Have you felt that? And the third card. The third card is an observer card, but a disassociated observer card to me. Have you ever felt that? Have you felt yourself watching things happening around you, but not connected? Have you felt like there was all this activity around you and you were not part of it, you were not in it? You were somehow removed from it. You were gazing through perhaps a haze or perhaps a veil of disconnectedness. Have you felt that? Not the clear, pure observer of meditation, but the disconnected observer of people and things happening around you, but not feeling connection to it, to them. What did that feel like in your body? Did it feel somehow cold, somehow numb? Have you experienced that? So these first cards to me gave a spectrum of emotions that we can feel. And there are things in between. But on one side, there is happy, joyful, radiant. On the other side, there's the fall into depression perhaps, or anguish, or powerlessness. And somewhere in the middle of that, neither this nor that, not happy, not unhappy, that kind of nothingness feeling of the disconnected observer, the disassociated observer, the not quite present observer. And there are times when we are feeling very connected and less than happy, but very active. And there are times when we are feeling very connected, but very powerless, unable to act, frustrated. So this is a spectrum of emotion. And then there's the fourth card. The card of the complete human. The one who is curious about what is happening inside and out. The one who is feeling their divine connection in all of their emotional states. Whether they are happy and joyful or falling into a pit of agony perhaps, but still feeling connected to the divine, connected as a whole being experiencing this experience at the moment. Now, it's easy to feel that when we are feeling joy. It's easy to feel that when we're feeling hope. You can even feel it when you're feeling frustrated. It's a lot more difficult to feel that feeling when we are in a state of powerlessness, of depression. And that's why that is sometimes called the dark night of the soul. Because the dark night of the soul is not the depression. The dark night of the soul is the sense of disconnection from our divine source, from the rest of the universe. It's the sense of disconnection from living, life, spirit. We can feel that in our physically manifested states here in these bodies. But as we are feeling that, there is another part of us, a larger part of us, larger. There's no scale to this difference. The fullest part of ourselves, the fullness of ourselves, that is always connected and more than connected, unable to disassociate from the fullness of all that is. That is the fullness of ourselves. And so it is that self that is the last card. Gaia, perhaps. The creating spirit. The spirit that is constantly birthing into the universe. That is us. That is us in all of our states, in all of our emotional range. We are still that spirit that is birthing our experience into this world and is birthing ourselves into this world. We are constantly birthing ourselves into this physical reality. We are constantly birthing our experience of this reality for ourselves. Whether we're at the happy state or we're at the powerless state or we're at the disassociated space in between and anything on that wide range of emotional states, we are still always that spiritual being birthing ourselves into the universe and birthing our experience of the universe for ourselves. Can you wrap your mind around that? That even when you are depressed, there is still you creating that for yourself in this universe. And so accepting that, accepting ourselves for who we are at every moment of our existence here in this universe and loving ourselves at every moment of our experience here in this universe is a powerful thing to know that you can do. Can you love yourself through your depression? As much as you can love yourself through your joy, as much as you can love yourself through your feelings of disconnection. Can you? Can I? That's something I'm trying to learn for myself. And I think we are all here to learn that. And when we have learned that, that is what that sense of enlightenment is, of realization, of actualization, of individuation. That's what we're here to learn for ourselves. So friends, we have 3 questions in relation to this experience of birthing ourselves in all of our emotional states. Let's look at the first question. So these questions are being answered by the Jonas tarot decks. And the Jonas tarot decks were ostensibly created as a means of re-expressing and reinterpreting the Tarot de Marseille as envisioned by Jodorowsky. However, looking at the cards, you will see that they are not really Tarot de Marseille, nor are they Rider-Waite-Smith, nor are they Thoth by any means. They can be interpreted as Tarot de Marseille, but they're not even pit decks, really. They are something entirely of themselves. However, they do follow the system of a tarot. There are 78 cards. There is a major and a minor arcana. In the minor arcana, there are court cards and 10 numbered cards from ace to 10. It's a tarot deck, but it is of its own. And it is all female and flowers, which is beautiful. And I love the color palette of this deck. I have an unboxing, which I might either put a link or something to, an unboxing of this deck, because it's a truly amazing deck and a unique deck. Anyways, so the first question of this section of the spread is, what is my body trying to tell me? And our bodies are our go-to to tell us what our emotional state is. We can feel our emotions in our bodies, and our bodies tell us how open we are to flowing with the powerful current of intention. So, what is my body trying to tell me? It's always trying to tell me where we are. And there are different kinds of indications. One kind of indication is the physical kind of indication of the 3 of discs, which is represented by 3 poppies. The 3 of discs, 3 of diamonds in this deck, tells us it's time to begin creation. It's time to begin working, to begin manifesting. Our bodies will tell us when it's time to move, when it's time to start tinkering with the physical world to begin manifesting our dreams and our hopes and the experiences we want to experience, the relationships we want to have, the creative expression we want to express. So the 3 of discs can be the beginnings of that manifestation, doing the first beginnings of the work. It can also be telling us, our bodies can also be telling us that it's time to partner up, to find people to create with. The 3s are partnership cards as well. It can be telling us to, in our association, that we will bear fruit. Our associations will bear fruit for us, will bring our creations into manifested form. And the card beside it, believe it or not, this is the Devil card in this deck. The Devil card is a passionate card. It's not a card you need to be afraid of. It's perhaps our bodies telling us that there is subconscious material that is ready to be birthed into the world. Our subconscious is trying to speak to us, and our bodies tell us when that is happening. Our subconscious, our unconscious minds, is where our intuition lives, expresses itself first through our bodies and through our dreams. And so the devil card can be showing us that there is unconscious material ready to be viewed, to be experienced. It can be telling us that it's revealing our desires and perhaps the contradictions of our desires. Sometimes our desires are contradictory, and maybe this card is showing us the contradictions. And it's sometimes in those contradictions that slows our manifestation down. So our bodies can be showing us that, can be showing us the contradictions in our desires, the push me, pull you. It can be showing us the paradoxes, the contradictions within ourselves, that tension. Our physical tension can be expressing our subconscious tension, which is a realization or a manifestation of contradictions within our desires. I want to do this, but. I'm afraid to do this, but. Or I want this and that, and I can't get them into alignment. That can be the experience of the devil card as well in this deck, I believe. Especially subconscious material ready to be birthed. We don't need to be afraid of it. It's us. It's there anyway. Being afraid of what's already there is futile. Seeing it, observing it, loving it, and soothing the things that need to be soothed, healing the things that need to be healed, and bringing forth the diamonds that are also lying there in the dark. That is all shadow work. And the devil can be telling us that our bodies are telling us to do that shadow work, to bring forth the diamonds as well. The 3 diamonds. So, our bodies are good indicators. They show us how well we are moving with our intention, and they show us what material we are ready to bring forth. Let's look at the next 3 cards. The 3 cards of this triumvirate are the 1 inquiry card giving you a question and the 2 tarot cards answering it. And the question is, what can I give? And that's an important question, because as we live our lives intentionally, we realize that this is all a co-creative experience. It's an exchange in co-creation. We create and we give and we receive. It's a transactional experience in some ways. Now, we live intentionally, we create, we share, we receive, we share, we receive, we create. It's all one flow, transactional. And so the first answer is the 4 of discs, of diamonds in this deck. And in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, that's a card of often interpreted as greed, but that's not what this means. Yeah, this card of the 4 of diamonds is a card of honoring where we are and who we are at this moment. We can give that. We can give that stability. The 4 of diamonds, the 4 of discs, is a card of stability, stable resources, stable stance, stability. And we can share that stability with others. We can give that stability and honor the other by observing the stability of this reality. We can also give by not letting our assets stagnate. Our assets, they could be financial assets, they could be other resources, they could be our time. Instead of hoarding them, this is not a card of hoarding in this deck. This is a card of allowing those assets to circulate in stability, not giving them all away, but to circulate, to share, to move, to develop. Greed is death. Hoarding is death. Resources need to be alive and moving to live. And that's the four of discs, the four of diamonds. It's also keeping our territory in working order. And if our territory, if our sphere, if our area of influence is in working order, we can give. That's what we can give. We can give order, an establishment of order for others to interact with us. We can also give the King of Swords. The King of Swords here is a skillful use of words and thoughts and concepts. We have that ability if we allow ourselves to use it. We have it. We all have it. Because that's not necessarily entirely related to school education. We all have the ability to skillfully use the words we know, to skillfully distribute and share concepts that we are secure in. And that goes for everyone in this physical reality, from the baby to the elder. The King of Swords is also the card of thought, leaping into the unknown. We can give by doing that. When we think our way into the unknown, discover into that undiscovered country, when we move there in thought, we grow, we learn, and we share. We can give that to the world. We can give that as part of our transaction in this world, as intentional livers. It's also the card of thought and putting it into action. The king is not only just sitting on the throne, thinking and thinking deep, deep thoughts. The king is thinking deep thoughts, thinking into the unknown, and also putting those thoughts into action. And putting our thoughts into action is also a gift to the world. Because that's birthing into the material realm. It's birthing and creating from thought into manifestation. So putting our thoughts into action, into physical manifestation, is a gift to all of those around us. And part of living an intentional life. Allowing our thoughts to move us into creation, to move us into manifestation. Let's look at the third and last set of cards. This set of cards is perhaps the culmination of this spread. Remember, we're looked at, what is my body telling me? My body is telling me that there is material ready to come into manifestation. It's also telling me how well I am moving with the flow of intention. It's telling me when I'm ready to give birth into the world, and that perhaps I want to co-create that birthing with others. What can I give? I can give my thoughts into the world, and I can give a stable platform for creation. So what am I committed to? From my body telling me that I'm ready to go and how well I'm ready to move, from my ability to give, what am I committed to? The first thing I'm committed to is the Temperance card. The Temperance card, Alchemy. It's the alchemy of combining and creating anew. Combining those emotional states, for example. Yeah, we combine our joy and our sorrow into one and create a new us. We combine different, divergent elements into something new, into gold, from lead into gold. Alchemy. So I'm committed to that alchemy, to creating anew. I'm committed to dynamic balance. Balance that is stuck and immobile is also death. A dynamic balance, a balance of life that moves a little bit up and down, like those cards, like the first cards of the soul cards, yeah? Joy and sorrow, that dynamic balance of emotion. We are not here to only experience joy. We're here to experience a broad range of emotion. And that dynamic balance is what we're committed to here in these bodies. We're committed to that energy flow. The energy flow through us into creation, like Gaia birthing ourselves into the universe. We're committed to integration of opposites into the oneness that we are. That fullness of ourselves that is always integrated with all that is, with the one, with the divine source. We are committed to our ability to do the seemingly impossible. And that's what a lot of living an intentional life looks like from the outside. When we are fully flowing with the powerful current of our intention, things look miraculous to people who are struggling and striving and making a living with effort. I'm not saying you're sitting in your chair not doing anything. But if it looks like you're working with ease, people look at you a little bit strangely, like you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You should be having more pain. But an intentional life will feel pain. We will feel pain, but we will incorporate that into a fullness of our physical manifestation and move right back into joy. We won't stay in that pain. We won't plant ourselves in the pain. We will use the pain to move our creation further and open back up and flow with intention towards that creation. That is temperance. And also the 10 of discs. 10 of diamonds. There are a lot of diamonds and discs in this spread, aren't there? So the 10 of discs for this deck, for me, is creativity. Creativity to enter into action. Our creative ability to enter into action. It's also money, matter, our resources, in exchange with our consciousness and our spirits. It's the conscious exchange of energy and matter, which is part of living an intentional life, which is part of living a life in a physical body as spirits having a physical human life experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that's that 10 of diamonds, 10 of discs, energy into manifestation. It's also material success. We're here to have material success. How we define that material success is up to us. We don't have to take someone else's definition of material success for ourselves. That won't match. That won't be, it won't fit our current of intention. Our personal definition of material success is what we are flowing towards, not Joe Schmo's over there in the next house. Yeah, we're not here to keep up with Joe Schmo's Jones. We're here to keep up with ourselves and our own definition of success and definition of happiness. And that is the 10 of discs. The fulfillment of our own material experience here in the world. and which is a birthing of ourselves and our experience into the world, as we are constantly doing as our own Gaia. We are our own Gaias. And that is the key to this spread, I believe. In all of our emotional states, we are our own Gaias. We are creating. And our bodies are giving us information about that. And as we create, we are giving into the world and receiving and giving into the world. And we are committed to that transaction and balancing. That's what this spread is telling me. That's what my intuition has told me this spread is sharing with us. So friends, what do you think? Looking at these cards, do you get something else? Did you get another idea from those soul cards than I got? I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear if any of this resonates with you. Does it make sense to you? I'm kind of flowing with something unfamiliar for myself right now. So I'd love to hear your reactions, and I'd love to engage in conversation. And if you're interested in getting these decks, the Jonas Joust decks I think might still be available, but there will be information on these decks at the end of the video, as always. So friends, tell me what you think in the comments below. Hit the like button if you feel called to. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the alarm. Make sure that you get alarms, notifications on your devices. If you have those notifications turned off, even if you hit the alarm, you won't receive them. So check that too. And share this with anyone who you think might get benefit from it. I'd love to see this go out into the world. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.